between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Watkins gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.
Hello everybody, welcome along to your last regular Tuesday night fix for a couple of weeks in the VRRC World Super Touring Car Championship, the finale. Drama galore. I think we're expecting, maybe hoping for a little bit tonight as we race on circuit. Ricardo Tormo, Richard John Neal here with Reeve Taylor. Welcome back, Reeve. He's come back from Germany. Great to have you back. And I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to this final, and I think you are too.
Yeah, I absolutely am, Richard. Thank you very much. It's going to be a really good one. Everything that you need for a good finale, isn't it, Richard? A championship that's up in the air, a great track and some great cars as well. Yeah,
it should be a good finale to our, I can't remember, second or third series of the year. I think it's the second series of the year. The graphic also mentions our wonderful broadcaster Steve Allen, who's doing the direction and producing and goodness knows what else, so he keeps us in order as the evening carries on, and also name checks Ian Danaher, clerk of the course, so Ian's going to have his work cut out afterwards. I think Thursday morning is when they look at it. This has been the journey that we've been on virtually, starting from Assen, visiting Australia, Romania, sort of, Nurburgring in Germany, Watkins, Glen in the States, Interlagos, Mugello last weekend, and we arrive for our Spanish finale, Ricardo Tormo, and the championship is very much poised to be decided. And to be fair, we don't exactly know what is going to happen. We'll look at the points and tell you why. Those of you who maybe weren't with us last week. Before we get that, guess what? I knew I'd forget something. It's the World Endurance League. So I was talking about having a couple of weeks off, but then we're back on the 2nd of June. I'm not sure if I can make that one, so I think we're going to draft in Reeve, Jack or Becky to be doing that one at LaSalle International. And for that one, there will be qualifying, 2 30-minute races and a 15-minute race. And you'll see that that format pretty much carries on through our traditional 8-round schedule, but with a couple of exceptions, those being rounds 4 and 8. Nurburgring GP is a 60-minute race with double points. Assuming it's the same point system we have at currently, it'll be 45 points we have currently for a normal race, so presumably 90 points. I'm not sure whether they get an extra point, a double point for fastest lap on double points, but we'll get Rich Hayden to clear that up for us. But anyway, the point you're seeing is halfway stage and end of the campaign are double points and longer races, hence endurance, which will be a lot of fun. We've got a couple of professional GT drivers lined up to join us in the COCOMs for that, but we will be having our regulars along as well. So Reeve will be joining us. I think Jack Oliphant will probably be doing some stuff, and we're certainly having Becky back as well. So we've really got the best of everything lined up for the World Endurance League. 3 great cars, as you can see, and we hope that you can join us. If not virtually on track, then maybe watch a few rounds with us here on YouTube. So really excited about that. 2nd of June is the date for your diary. So I was talking about the championship table, and I got a little bit early with that. Jack Smith has a 61-point lead, but those of you who were with us last week might remember Jack saying that he is working today. If I remember correctly, he was at Alton Park, and he's got to make his way over kind of towards Croft, which is sort of the area. Most people know where tracks are. I think I've got my geography right. So basically it's a cross-country dash after testing finishes. Why is it an issue? Well, basically he's got a 61-point lead, but there are 3 times 46 points available in the championship. So basically I think he can probably afford to miss races 1 and 2, or races 1 and 2/3, and maintain the championship lead, because you can't drop this round. So things might get a little bit tight with Ollie Gibson in second. Gabe North's only a point behind Ollie, so it's going to be thrilling between those two as well. And Andy Dorman mathematically has a chance of getting in the mix as well. He's not that far behind, as you can see, but Andy Dorman mathematically could win the championship as well. Everybody outside that, I think, if my maths are correct, are fighting over podium positions, likes of Andy Carroll, Scott Bugner, Ollie Atkins, Alex Forster, Craig Curtis and Sam Walton, propping up our top 10 at the moment. That sounds rude, doesn't it, saying propping up? Well done to Sam Walton for getting into the top 10 last week with some great performances from outside of the reverse grid positions throughout the course of the evening. Kieran Haynes 11th from Kenny Press, and Paul Laramie, Christian Gillian 14th from Rich Hayden, Chris Blakey next up from Jack Dickerson and Kat Potter. Lee Piercy is 19th and 20th is Caden Cook. '21st in the championship, Daniel Heaps from Robert Shepherd, then it's Callum Enstone and John Jones. You can see from the graphic, Daniel, Callum and John having retired from the proceedings. So that's where we are in terms of our competing drivers. Good number of those have already signed up for our World Endurance League, which is good news. And hopefully we'll have some strong team pairings. And talking of that, this is how the teams line up in the World Touring Car Championship. At the moment, DK Power, 1,321 points, playing Team Carwell. I think pretty much DK Power have already got it, if I've done my maths correctly. Swift Cooper are in third place, with Hyro in fourth. So Swift Cooper looking to try and maintain the bronze medal position in the teams championship. Shake and Bake, which is Gabe North on his own. Great performance for the lone gunman there in fifth position. And sixth is Andy Dorman, another one-man team. If those two had got together, that might have been a good idea. Maybe for the next series. Chris Blake and Paul Laramie next up from Lee Piercy and Rich Hayden. Alex Forster in ninth, again on his own. With Sam Walton, again, inside the top 10, an independent runner. So that's the way the teams stack up. We're going to have a look back just and recap on not necessarily the points from last week, but our overall podium based on the points scored through the three races. And our overall winner was Jack Smith. You might remember there was contact between Jack and Gabe towards the end of the first race of the day. I don't think there were any penalties over that, and it was pretty much a racing incident, I think, as we saw it. Gabe taking that particular win, but Jack Smith, it really seemed to fire him up even more than usual when he came back and added another 2 wins to the podium that he had in race 1. So it was Jack that was top scorer on the evening, Gabe North second, and Oliver Gibson in third. All three of those drivers were the 3 drivers in various orders that we had on the podium in each of the 3 races. Driver of the round, though, went to not a BMW driver on the podium, but I don't like to say best of the rest because that's not really what he was, but a really smart performance from Andy Dorman. And we did struggle last week to try and pick a driver of the round, but Andy Dorman was, I think, punching above his weight in the Audi, did a super job, so we gave him that recognition, and he was our 7th driver of the round for our championship. So well done, Andy, as well done to Jack, Gabe and Oliver. So we move on to our final round. As I say, you've got a break of a couple of weeks after today, but we are in Spain, round 8, 12th of May, Ricardo Tormo circuit. I think as Jack Smith has been away working, the honours for the hot lap falls to a certain Scott Bugner. Well, Scott's as good as anybody, isn't he, for a hot lap? Let's take a ride round the track with him. So that was our ride around the track at Ricardo Tormo. I think really, like last week, I've got to say, as a national racing commentator, I've done some international stuff over my career, but not that much. I've you know, IndyCar and stuff like that we've done in the past. But Ricardo Tormo, not a circuit I'm familiar with, and I was going to sort of ping out to Reeve and say, you probably know a little bit more about the track than me. I'm guessing you've maybe even been there, but I'm guessing you've done it on the sim.
Actually haven't. This is one that has escaped me as well, so I'm really interested to see how it's going to look this evening. What stands out to me, looking at it, is it's vaguely reminiscent to me of a Catalunya or a Portimao on the track diagram, with the big notable feature of it is an anti-clockwise circuit, so nice to have another one of those on the roster.
Yeah, help the drivers unwind a bit on it after all the clockwise stuff.
Straight in there.
Well, of course, our one was Rockingham, but we don't have Rockingham anymore. But we might have a VRRC race at Rockingham coming up at some point in the maybe near future, maybe not. Anyway, race focus. I'll tease you with that no more. Sam Walton, by virtue of getting into the top 10 of the championship and the racing last week, super effort, gets him into the reverse section, and he starts on the front row of the grid with Craig Curtis. So well done, Sam, for getting into the top 10. Really smart effort last week. Good, consistent week. And really good to see him there. Got about a minute to go before the race starts. Row 2, Alex Forster, then Ollie Atkins. I mean, you know, we could say the race 1 winner could come from anywhere in that top 4. And then certainly, of course, as we go further up the championship, as we go back, the likelihood is that these drivers, even more so, will be able to win. Scott Bugner in 5th, Andy Carroll in 6th place, Andy Dorman in 7th, Gabe Norse, Ollie Gibson. Then we've got Kieran Haynes starting next up. Now, Kieran Haynes isn't the championship leader. You're probably saying, hang on, top 10 reverse. But remember, Jack Smith is on his way back from work. I'm wondering whether he's going to make it at all. We'll wait and see. Reeve, that's quite a long drive, isn't it? Alton to sort of Croftish.
It is indeed. I'm just trying to do very quick route guidance in my head to see where he'd have to go to get online in time. I think my navigation skills might fail me, so let's get into the racing, I think.
sounds like a good idea. And as you can see, lighting sequence is there, and we are ready to race for the anti-penultimate race of this series. And we are away. Let's see what the guys could do. And it's Sam Walton that leads them away very nicely indeed from Craig Curtis, but Craig will fancy his chances to have a go on the run down into turn 1, certainly as a regular on the podium. It is Craig that gets ahead. Sam Walton in 2nd place. Ollie Atkins is momentarily, I was going to say 3rd. I say momentarily because he's passed Sam Walton and gone up into 2nd position. And poor old Sam getting bundled down the order a little bit, which is a shame. I'd like to have seen Sam Walton maybe hold his own at the front for a little bit, but that will come in later races. Now, was that Ollie Gibson going off?
Didn't quite catch that myself, but other than that, I must say, 3 wide through so many of these first lap corners. Really good start from our drivers here at Ricardo Tormo. Looks like it's going to be a circuit with plenty of width, give drivers plenty of overtaking opportunities there, as we see Dorman on the defence and Rich Hayden, who's hoping to crack into that top 10 point scoring position as we head into the twilight of this championship.
Yeah, he'll all about points really, and just trying to get a decent performance under his belt. Pretty sure that it was Ollie. I'm just looking down. Yeah, Ollie down in 18th and last place at the moment, Oliver Gibson. So that is potentially 2nd place in the championship down the Swanee, isn't it? On the first lap. What caused that, we don't know. But we will hopefully get the chance to. I was going to say hopefully get the chance to talk to him a bit later. He's got to get into the top 10 basically now to stand a chance of a podium, I would say, and that would have to come in race 2. And then an awful lot of work in race 3, because remember it's the top point scorers from the combined scores races 1 and 2 that start at the front in the 3rd race of the evening. But it's Craig Curtis out front from Ollie Atkins, and Gabe Norse from 8th on the grid is already up into 3rd place. So Gabe has been really on a mission here, and this could be 45 points out of the lead of Jack Smith if he carries on with his progress that we're having. Andy Carroll doing well. Andy Dorman right in the mix as well. 3 wide. Look how wide. You're right, absolutely right about this track. it does facilitate plenty of room. Paul Laramie in the mix as well. Paul, I think, if I remember, I had a look at TSL at the weekend. I was supposed to be focusing on my work from Brands Hatch, but old habits die hard, and you look at TSL, you look at all the other meetings that are going on. I think Paul got a class win in the BMWs, fairly sure. Might have got that wrong, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he did well in the real world. He'll have to get on the podium to maybe come and talk to us about that.
As we look on to Scott Bugner here, under pressure from Kieran Haynes here. It's going to be a good old BMW versus Audi battle to see us out for this season. I'm sure we're going to have 2 more races worth of that as well here this evening. But Bugner looks to be doing a pretty good defensive job at the moment. Isn't, you know, sacrificing a load of time. He's still keeping up with Gabriel Norse, but Kieran Haynes isn't quite able to find a way past just yet. I imagine he's just trying to pick a nice and safe opportunity to do so. It's early in the race, don't need any brash moves just yet. The back end on his BMW kicks out ever so slightly, doesn't slow him down though, and he's still attached to the rear wing of the green Audi up in front. Takes a slightly tighter line into the left-hand upcoming and isn't able to find a way past just yet, but is certainly occupying those rear view mirrors.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And you're right, you've got this kind of settling down period of the first race. They've got to crack on, but equally they need to get into a little bit of race rhythm. A lot of drivers tend to talk to me about that. Oh, it's Chris Blakey, I think, got a podium at the weekend, as well as Paul Laramie. So I think Chris might have been behind Paul as one way or the other, just to go back to the real world results. But Kieran Haynes trying to get up into the points. Needs to keep a quick eye on Oliver Gibson, who's up into 13th. So Oliver's made some recovery progress, and one would say from 13th, with a lot of the race to go, should be able to get into the top 10, which will be points and also decent position for race 2. But with only 1 point separating him and Gabe Norse, who we ride on board with now, he actually needs to be up with Gabe. He's going to have a dive down the inside, and I'll tell you what, if that was real world, that was a scary dive. It was obviously clean because there was no contact between the two, but it gives you an idea of just how difficult some of those moves are. But Gabe Norse has done that perfectly, Reeve.
He has indeed, and clearly I think we know what the fight is going to look like for second position now. Craig Curtis out in front is looking pretty comfortable for the time being, and we can see headlights flashing already. Typical 1990s salesman saloon stuff going on here as Norse is starting to break away ever so slightly on corner exit there, and this is going to be a very fine drive from Ollie Atkins if he can pull this off, because he's fighting a battle on 2 fronts really. He's trying to keep up with Norse, but also is very much aware of the very fast Scott Bugner just behind. This is going to be a very fascinating battle, effectively 4 cars in the fight for P2 here.
Yeah, all good stuff, isn't it? And Craig Curtis, I think, looking for the first win of the campaign, so it'll be handy for Craig, and it'll set him up well for race 3. A win in race 1 or 2 will put you probably in the front 2 rows of the final. Shouldn't call it the final, but the final race anyway, because it's not a trophy race on its own or anything like that, as we've got Scott Bugner now trying to get stuck back into Ollie Atkins. Gabe Norse in P2, 2.44 the gap. Bugner goes for the outside run, and Kieran Haynes, the teammate, diving down the inside, as that was a move, wasn't it?
Wow, well done. Oh no, but the back end for Scott Bugner, he does catch it though. Oh no, he doesn't catch it. I think maybe a little bit of contact potentially at play there. Didn't quite catch the full glimpse of it there. He is able to rejoin the car, still pointing in the right direction. And actually, in terms of relative position to his rivals, not all that much is lost. You saw the back end go there, the typical front wheel drive thing. He'll plant the foot in it to correct it, but then ends up spearing off. Loses some momentum here. That's Haynes through. That's Ollie Atkins trying to find a way back through now. So we have a reversal for the BMWs in terms of their fighting position. Bugner remains in P4 and might be slightly rattled by that. We still have 13 minutes in this race to go, so as long as he keeps the bumpers tidy, he should still be in with a very good finish here.
It should be, and there was on the timing screen contact between both Scott Bugner and Kieran Haynes and Ollie Atkins, and I'm not going to apportion any blame, but Ian Danaher's going to have a busy Thursday looking through all of that for sure. And the gap's come down, hasn't it now? Gabe Norse 1.8 seconds, so he's taken well over half a second out of Craig Curtis, and Gabe Norse will want nothing less than a race win in this one, just to set himself up, to catch as many points on Jack Smith. We need a Jack Smith cam, don't we? We need a dash cam of him coming back and seeing the road signs, whether he's going to make it or not. I don't know if anyone is getting updates. I don't, unfortunately, get a chance to look at messaging while I'm doing this. Being an old fart, I don't get a chance to sort of look at more than 2 screens at once. So,
well, I have realised that... Sorry, go on.
Go on, mate, yeah.
was going to say, I have realised going from Alton to Croft, he will be going past my neck of the woods actually. So I'll let you know if I see him head up the M6 northbound because
yeah, Jack. If Jack's listening, give him a toot. Give Reeve a toot as you go past his house. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know whether he's going to make it. We'll have to see. There's Lee Pearcey. First look at Lee Pearcey in this round, trying to close down on Alex Forster. Alex always strong wherever he starts. And consistent, Alex Forster. He's had some really good results. He's rarely outside of the top 10, so he's been, you know, he's 8th in the championship. Always scores well, and he's been 100% behind this championship. Done all of the rounds, which we're delighted to have him down for. And it was really lovely for me to see him racing in the Legends cars at wherever it was. I've lost track of where. With Donington Park on the Saturday of the touring car meeting. And it's always great for me to get to see some of the VRRC guys. You know, it's nice to see him at the track anyway, but to see them racing is even better. So, and he did very well in Daniel Pooley's car, which is up for sale. I think I mentioned that last week. So if anyone fancies a Legends car, which is a series, the numbers are as strong as ever, and they will only continue to get stronger as well because they've got new management, new thinking, and so on and so forth going on. And the funny thing is, the Legends, I was name-checking the Legends in relation to the Caterham Championship, because there's a similar sort of Elite Cup type thing going on in the Caterhams at the weekend. And two of the Legends people messaged me during Sunday afternoon saying, oh, thanks for the mention for the Legends. So they're very well aware of other championships and switched on and listening to and watching other racing. Gabe Norse has maybe slowed down, not slowed down, but his chase of Craig Curtis hasn't got that much closer. It's 1.2 still, so Craig may be settling into his race rhythm, and that might make things a little bit more difficult for Gabe Norse to close up as we watch Lee Pearcey closing up on Alex Forster with Andy Dorman in behind, last time's driver of the round. And then down behind them we've got Andy Carroll in the blue and orange, and in the background of shot now we've got Oliver Gibson, who's got up into the top 10. And Reeve, that's going to be crucial, isn't it, for Ollie? If he doesn't get the run much further here, he's in the top 10 and could get some decent points back in race 2.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very important evening, obviously, for the championship. It's the final one after all, and that's how we like a finale to be set up. But to go against his teammate there, 61 points is the gap between the two. Every single point in this round counts. They have had other race evenings, Bathurst and Pascani being two events where one of the two wasn't present, but at the Nurburgring onwards, they've all been pretty much toe-to-toe, really, in the racing, and this is a real opportunity for Oliver Gibson now. This is when he needs to make that move, but Gabriel Norse, just 1 point behind in those standings as well, is currently having a really strong showing here in race 1, closing up to Craig Curtis nicely as we go on board with Andy Carroll here, just behind Lee Pearcey. So another look at the battle that we were seeing beginning to build up from the front end of the cars here. As we can see, Lee Pearcey, the back end on his E36, just kicks out. He does correct it, but does lose some speed as a result, potentially, as we can see already that Audi right in the slipstream, closing up as we head into the braking zone to restart another navigation of this track as he aches his way out towards the inside line there. Later on the brakes, lovely stuff there from Andy Carroll. That was a nice clean move.
Yeah, two good clean drivers there, to be fair, and I'm surprised we haven't seen Lee Pearcey further up, but again, it's the quality of the driving up at the sharp end. It's very, very good in terms of our regulars. And I think in some ways it can put off newcomers when they see how good the top guys are. I think in some respects we probably need to have a total reverse somewhere along the line, just to try and give some newcomers and developing drivers a chance to have a go off the front. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to build that in, but you know, at the end of the day, up to Rich and whoever's in charge of the championship. But it is, I think, a good selling point for developing drivers, as Scott Bugner does a super move again and manages to go through, I think, without contact. Yeah, there's no contact on the screens, and a lovely move there on Kieran Haynes. Kieran would have dearly loved to have got another podium, but Scott Bugner smoking the tyres as well, working really, really hard at the moment. Scott bemoaning the fact that we've only got rear-wheel drive championships coming up after this. Now, Oliver Gibson is right in the mix now to get 3 or 4 places. He will hope in fairly quick succession here, but he's got some difficult drivers to pass.
He does indeed, Richard. You see Lee Pearcey there all over the track, there or thereabouts, trying to find a way past Andy Carroll. For Gibson saying, oh, well, watch out there, Lee, because I fancy a chance at a move on P9, P8, perhaps in the next couple of corners, as he is attached to the rear bumper there. That was a great shot from Scott Bugner that we saw a few moments ago, though, where you can see he was eking everything out of that car. That front axle wasn't happy to brake, it wasn't happy to go around the corner, it was understeering everywhere, but he wrestled that car, which is great to see. But speaking of wrestling, Oliver Gibson wrestles the wheel to have a look down the inside there, following Lee Pearcey through, as he maybe goes too deep into that first corner. No, there's plenty of runoff there, so it does work out for him, but he does lose some momentum. So Andy Carroll, I think, is going to be right back down the inside into the third corner of the lap and takes back that position that was taken from him through that first corner. So Andy Carroll somehow once again is back up into P8, is defending from two fronts this time around. Oliver Gibson now finds a way past Lee Pearcey and is going to be fronting this battle against the Audi ahead of them now. Or will he? Because it switches around once more. Lee Pearcey and Oliver Gibson might need to settle their differences before they think about battling Andy Carroll and Alex Forster up in front.
How much ground they've lost sorting them out is about 3 or 4 lengths there. Not as much as he could have done if they were squabbling a little bit longer, but Lee Pearcey will now get in the middle. I thought he might work with Ollie Gibson to get back on terms here with Andy Carroll, but no such luck there. So Gibson up into 9th. Lee Pearcey will want to come back as well. A little bit reminiscent of some of the touring car racing I saw at Brands at the weekend. I've got to say that this year, the British Touring Car Championship, I've been a lot more engaged with it. I don't know why. It's been the first couple of events have been really good. I missed race 3 at the track due to other things on Sunday, and the first thing I did when I got home was you know, stuck ITV Player on and to watch it, because I was that engaged with it. And normally if I'm not working on a championship, I can sort of take or leave it, but I'm really hooked into it this year. And this is giving us some similar action, which is exactly what the virtual world is supposed to do. Now we're looking at Andy Dorman and Ollie Atkins, and Andy Dorman's looking handy here again. Always there, always chipping away at the points and places. But if he gets this one, he's going to have a heck of a lot of work to do to close up on the cars in front, because he's 4.7 seconds down at the moment is Andy Dorman, or this battle is. And it's not going to be easy for him. Ollie Atkins in 5th position is not going to be an easy pass. And of course, we've got Alex Forster coming up. We've got Andy Carroll coming up as well. So guys, just form a train and see how we go from there.
This one certainly looks like it's going to be on time with how quick everything is going in that train, though, doesn't it? 5 minutes to go in this race there or thereabouts. Atkins still leads that chart. That has been a great battle, as you say, Richard. And we look back to another ongoing fantastic bit of action forming up the back end of this train now, as we see Carroll has a look around the outside of Forster, potentially Gibson and Lee Pearcey once again just laying in waiting, but this time Gibson looks a bit racier. Looks like he fancies a way around the outside, potentially. Runs out of track though, and just about keeps the car pointing the right direction. He's actually somehow going to have a bit of a switchback move here and get ahead of Andy Carroll, and through goes Oliver Gibson. Alex Forster is now the driver under threat from the white-coloured BMW there, and does get a nose out in front, does Oliver Gibson. And there we go. Is that move sealed? I very highly doubt it. I think Forster and Carroll are a force to be reckoned with in those Audis just behind. But for now, it's Oliver Gibson up in 7th.
Done very well there, didn't he, Ollie? He's chipped away, and this is as good as I've seen Ollie do. He's always resilient. We always talk about resilience as well in racing drivers. You need to be able to get away out front and everything else. But if you have a knock, you need to be able to bounce back from that, and that's certainly what Ollie's doing. So to make it from, you know, last position, which he was on lap 1, up into 7th place and harrying Andy Dorman, as we now go back to Gabe Norse challenging for the lead. So Steve, our director, has plenty of choices in what to watch, but we're rightly, I think, watching the lead battle here, which has come down from 2.4 seconds to just over a tenth now. And here comes Gabe Norse round the outside, which will tee up the inside for the next corner. Now he's going to go for a wide run in and try and carry a bit of momentum through on the inside here. I tell you what, that showed to me that Gabe Norse knows his competitor, knows this track as well. He's learned it.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig Curtis is going to try and fight back for it, though. He's not decided that this battle is completely lost just yet. 17 minutes, Craig Curtis has controlled things very nicely in this race indeed, as Kieran Haynes now fancies replicating that move against Scott Bugner. Has the inside, it does. Haynes, Bugner going the long way around in that front-wheel drive car. Doesn't always work out, but I think it might just on this occasion, as he does ever so slightly have a nose out in front before the inside of the right-hander that comes up. And there we go. That's going to be Scott Bugner up into P3 now. Haynes laying in waiting, but it's a good slingshot out of the right-hander there, it must be said, as they now navigate their way towards the end of the lap. Stays in the slipstream, which often the BMW does need in comparison to the Audi to try and keep up through the full throttle stuff, and Haynes looks to be a little bit more settled in for the time being.
He does. I think we might even have the top three settled enough to write them down. I won't just yet, though, because we don't want the curse of the commentator on the last round, as Oliver Gibson tries to make up another place, momentarily gets his nose in front of Ollie Atkins. Atkins pulls it all back on the inside. They go down the main straight, and again it's the wrong side of the circuit for Ollie G. Let's see whether he can make it around into the left-hander at the end of the straight. He's on the wrong side of the track to be able to do that unless he's got decent momentum, and it's the Audi on the inside that will hang on to it for the moment, but drifts a little bit wide. It's a little twitch from Oliver Gibson as they make a tiniest little bit of a rub there. And Ollie Gibson trying to, it was a 2.38 miles per hour crash, so that will crash or touch between the two cars. So I can't remember what the tolerance is speed-wise in terms of the touches to be looked at by the clerks after the event. But I've got to say, thus far, really good, clean stuff. I mean, we've had the odd little rub here and there, which is what you expect and probably what we want in touring car racing. But aside from Ollie Gibson perhaps being knocked away at the start, which could be first lap bunching, if we want to import that from Speedway as a phrase, the driving standards have been absolutely brilliant so far.
They absolutely have, Richard. You're correct there. As we see, Oliver Gibson has a look around the outside of Atkins now and can complete that move. In fact, that was a great, brave move there from Oliver Gibson, not backing out of that one in the slightest. But as you say, we do want a little bit of touring car, typical touring car stuff there. I mean, they've equipped the cars, these race cars, with bumpers for a reason. They wouldn't have done that if they didn't need them. So, so that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, okay. It has got to be part and parcel of it. I mean, if it doesn't get physical, we can all talk about precision driving and be giving each other that bit of space, but you just want to know that the drivers want the wins as much as possible. So, yeah, I think contact is a part of it. And as long as the contact, I think the Blue Book says, as long as the contact doesn't cause an accident, then they probably let it go, unless it's too forceful, and then someone will complain about it. But that's the thing, isn't it? Cause and effect that we look at. The effect of Gabe North at the moment is he's got away by a second and a half, so he's still got his head down. And importantly, Reeves got the fastest lap as well, 1:40.819. So he's potentially on for 46 points. So he's taking 46 points out of a 62-point championship lead that Jack Smith has over him coming into this race.
Yeah, really impressive stuff from Norse. When I was discussing earlier on about drivers needing to jump on these opportunities, capitalise on when they do present themselves, having the front run the championship not being present this evening is exactly the type of opportunity that can just turn around your fortunes completely. And Norse has absolutely risen to the challenge. It's not been an easy race for him. Likewise, it hasn't been an easy race for Curtis, who led it for so long as well. He's done a fantastic job. But Norse seems to have done absolutely everything that he needs to do, really, as he starts off his raced evening. Of course, we still have 2 more races to go, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yeah, really looking forward to that as well. And Gabe, I think, on his interviews, seems to have got more relaxed as we've gone on. And maybe that's because he's self assured. He's definitely not cocky, but he's always sounded to me a little bit more assured as it's gone on. And, you know, he's just done such a great job and takes the flag. So Gabe Norse takes the win. Craig Curtis in P2. Kieran Haynes will take 3rd position, or will he? He's a drag to the flag as they go across the line. And who is going to get that? It is Kieran that just does it from Scott Bugner. And I said about the curse of the pen, I wrote Scott Bugner down in 3rd about a lap ago. But it is Kieran Haynes that takes it from Scott Bugner. Well done, Kieran Haynes and Scott Bugner, on some great racing right the way through and towards the end. Andy Dorman in 5th. Oliver Gibson from the back on lap 1 up into 6th place. Andy Carroll 7th from Ollie Atkins, Alex Forster and Christian Gillian in 10th place. Well done, Christian, getting into the top 10. That's a mega effort as well. That puts him into pole position for race 2. Kenny Press 11th, just outside of that reverse grid scenario for the 2nd race. So he'll be a little bit frustrated with that, but maybe he can get into the top 10 in the next one. Chris Blakey 12th from Paul Laramie. Sam Walton in 14th from Jack Dickerson and Lee Piercy, with Robert Shepherd and Rich Hayden completing our 18 finishers. And we'll have a word with Messrs Norse, Curtis and Haynes, which sounds like a firm of solicitors but isn't, We'll have a word with them in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back. I'm going to hand over to Reeve to do our first interview with our third place man, and just gives you a chance to listen to different people doing the interview. So, Reeve, over to you and down on the podium.
Thank you very much, Richard, and a big congratulations to Kieran Haynes. I believe it's my first time speaking to you this season, so congratulations on P3. What a way to kick off the evening.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a tough race. Scott was keeping me on my toes. I just dive bombed him in the last corner, just picking out a P3. But yeah, it was a good race, and hopefully race 3 we can keep up the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I said, what a way to kick off your evening. You've had some really strong evenings elsewhere as well, looking back to the first part of the season as well in the Netherlands. 97 points scored that evening. You're currently 11th in the championship. Are you hoping to break into that top 10 then towards the end of this evening?
I mean, I'm open, yeah, so that's gonna be the goal. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be very nice indeed. But going back to the actual battle that we've just got to see out on track there, it was a bit of a nail biter, particularly towards the end. As you said, you went for an opportunistic move through that final corner, and then it became a bit of a drag race, didn't it? Did you think you had it as we crossed the line?
I mean, I saw Scott was braking quite early in our last corner, so I knew that was going to be my opportunity. And I know the Audi's the quickest in the straight lines, so I wasn't quite keen that I was going to make a stick. But I made the stick, and that's what is the thing, yeah.
Very nice indeed. Is this track, Ricardo Tormo, one that you've got much experience with, or is this your first time kind of encountering it in the world of sim racing?
I think I've raced here once or twice, but I haven't really got much experience.
What do you make of it then so far? Is it one that you enjoy, one that you hope that we might revisit again in the future?
I mean, I think it's a good track, but these cars are just annoying to get turned in. But it's a good track, and yeah, I hope it's back on the calendar soon.
Yeah, it does look like there's a lot of fun to be had out there. Are you hoping then, you mentioned the cars, are you looking for maybe swapping your BMW 3 Series here for an M3 in the World Endurance League potentially, or are you just thinking about any of those GT cars would be ideal?
Well, I know I've picked the BMW for the next championship because I know it's such a much more stable car. I did pick the McLaren at first because that's better in the high speeds. It just has better top end, but I think the BMW is the quickest car in the championship.
Well, hopefully we'll see you having some fun in that then in the next championship, and hopefully we have another chance to speak to you again this evening, Kieran. Thank you very much, and congratulations on P3.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Reeve. Thanks, Kieran, as well. Well done on getting another podium. He had a podium at Assen, our first round. So sort of bookending the series. I hope that makes sure he goes out on a high, and maybe he'll get another one as the evening goes on as well. But on to P2, Craig Curtis. Well done, Craig. I think a sixth time, half a dozen podiums for you in this campaign so far, and you've done all bar the first round, inside the top 10, but nothing doing really. Gabe was on a little bit of a mission there, wasn't he? Despite the pace that you set in the early stages on that one.
He was, yeah, Rich. Yeah, it was a good race. Made a good start from P2, so managed to take the lead by turn 1, and then just looking at the delta basically to see where Gabe was, because I could see him climbing up the order, and then when he got up into P2, that gap started to come down quite rapidly. So, but yeah, we had a good sort of nose to tail for a couple of laps, and then I just outbraked myself midway around the lap, and he managed to get by. And yeah, just to hope to catch him, it was not going to happen. But yeah, well done to Gabe on that one. But also well done to Kieran, because a double Welsh podium as well. So happy with that. So, but yeah, hopefully race 2 will be just as fun. It was a little bit boring in the beginning, I've got to say, but I do enjoy racing in the mid pack.
It was certainly some good action going on there, and this has stayed pretty strong actually, this campaign, right the way to the end. I was going to make comments about Plaid Cymru and all that kind of stuff, but I won't get into asking voting preference. I think we're all sick to the back teeth of it at the minute, aren't we? But it is good to see you guys doing it, and I love it when we're out of Scottish drivers, aren't we? We need some Scottish and Irish. We need Daniel Heaps and some more Irish drivers and Scottish drivers to come in and make it more of a sort of truly UK championship, which would be nice. But how was your week anyway?
Good, just working. I'm back in now this evening, so quick drive up to North Wales, up to Wrexham, and then back on Thursday morning. So yeah, this is sort of like the halfway point of my shift. So yeah, back on the truck this evening. So back to normal.
I mean, so you're doing a lot of driving in your job, and then you're driving for R&R. That's a conflict, isn't it? Really?
I love driving. I'm also trained to be a driving instructor as well. So I'm halfway through that at the moment. So anything with wheel and pedals, and I'm happy to use it. So yeah, I love it.
Craig, is that deep seated from being a youngster? I mean, certainly my love of what I do and still following the sport goes back to when I was, sort of 11, 12-year-old. So is it the same with yourself with cars? Is it an early infatuation?
Ever since I was, yay big. Loved cars and F1 and any motorsport now in general. Is just, the wife is, whenever she comes up into the lounge and I got, motorsport on, she goes, oh, this again? I'm like, yes. So always been it in my 42 years. So, and it'll never change.
Nice one. Craig, thanks for that. Well done, mate. I've just noticed the time, so we better hand over to Reeve. He's going to have a word with the winner, but congratulations on P2, and thanks for entertaining us in that one.
Thanks again, Rich.
Thank you very much, Richard. Then, so as you say, not too much time, Gabriel. So first of all, big congratulations, a race win to kick off quite an important evening in the championship, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good way to start it. I mean, I've seen that Jack isn't here, so that definitely helps a bit with the championship. But yeah, it was a overall good race. I managed to get up to second quite quickly. Then I was just hunting down first place the entire race, and yeah, I managed to just pip him at the end.
Yeah, really good way to kick off your evening. I am properly clock watching now, and it looks like we might have maybe 30 or so more seconds. So are you looking forward to replicating that race 1 battle in race 2 and race 3 to round off this season?
Yeah, hopefully I can climb through the field quite quickly again, but yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it just depends on how quickly I can get through some different cars.
Yeah, it certainly does. Well, on that note then, congratulations on your race 1 victory. As I say, I'm very much aware we don't have too much time, so I'm hoping, and I'm fairly sure that we will get another chance to chat to you again this evening. So congratulations, Gabriel.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, Gabe. Thanks, Reeve, and apologies, Gabe, for me prattling on a little bit too long, as I usually do. Once I sorted the points out, which we've done, I reckon, so this is subject to official confirmation, fairly obviously. Obviously, Jack Smith still in front because there were more than 45 points in terms of the gap. But by my reckoning now, we've got a 16-point gap between Jack Smith, championship leader, and I keep glancing at the screen, as I'm sure Reeve's doing, to see whether Jack has joined the server or not. But 16-point gap between Jack and Gabe, who's now in P2 for the championship, and then a further 25 points down is Ollie Gibson. So we don't want any misfortunes for any driver, but if Gabe was to have some bad luck in the next race, Ollie could bypass him and, of course, get into the championship lead as well, setting us up for the final race of the weekend. But the gap's 25 points at the moment, so I think Ollie will be keen to keep Gabe in his sights and keep the championship very much alive going into race 3. That's kind of the situation for our top 3 as we head into race 2. So it is, maths-wise as well, it's great that they can't drop this last round. Not really great for Jack Smith being away, but it's good for us because we don't have to sort of start taking any of the previous events out of the equation, which is something we have to do on TV sometimes where championships do it. I mean, I think basically if a championship's on a national broadcaster, they should not have drop scores at all anyway. That's my rule, because I think people should be, you know, if you're on that kind of level, you should be committed enough to not have to worry about drop scores. But it's only the drivers that fall foul of it that get upset about it at the end of the day, which is understandable. I kind of get that, but I think you should race for every point. I don't think you should have to discard any points that you've earned.
Yeah, no, it can become a bit of a maze to navigate, can't it? I mean, looking to some of the karting championships in the real world that I commentate on, and the main commentator for those leagues, Andrew Mather, he's infamous for his spreadsheet of doom, and he's brilliantly talented and skilled and very good at multitasking, and he will sit there and commentate beautifully while also filling in data on a spreadsheet full of macros and formulas and stuff that I quite frankly can't navigate, and every time I try to use it I've broken. But this can pretty much tell him, you know, how the driver's going to do in the race, how they're going to do in the championship, what they had for dinner yesterday. It can tell them absolutely everything that you need to know numbers wise. It is impressive stuff. I would like to apologise well to Gabriel Norse. I think I might have cut his into a bit too short there. I was just being very, very aware of the original timing. So apologies, Gabriel, for that one.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him a little bit later on. But the grid for this one, as you can see from the timing tower, Christian Gillian did well to get into the top 10 with Alex Forster on the front row, Ollie Atkins and Andy Carroll next up from Oliver Gibson and Andy Dorman. Scott Bugner and Kieran Haynes will renew battle from row 4, and the 5th row, Craig Curtis and Gabe Norse, the last 3 drivers, of course, we just heard from in our interviews. And we have just under a minute to go before the start of our second race. Again, just surveying the timing screen to see whether Jack Smith has made it back. I did check my phone to see if anyone had messaged. There's nothing popped up. So, oh, hang on, I've got a message now. It's coming through. Oxford Women's Football Club. No, so that wasn't anything to do with Jack Smith, was it? Let's just have a quick look on the others to see if we've got any messages coming through. It doesn't look like we have. So, yeah, it looks like the championship lead could well go here. And, well, we're into our timing countdown for the start of race 2. So the lighting sequence very nearly underway. And it is Christian Gillian and Alex Forster. Let's see. It'd be nice to see these guys get a good run at the lead here, if not to hang on to get a win. It would be nice to get a different winner as we go away. It is a good start from Christian Gillian, so too from Alex Forster, trying to work his way up the inside. Oliver Gibson already into 3rd and keen to get up and grab the 45, maybe 46 points. And how has Oliver Gibson got round the lot of them and into turn 1 into the lead? Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, brilliant efforts from Gibson there. Those 2 Audis, can be tricky to get off the line sometimes, those front-wheel drive cars, but nevertheless, that's not taking away that really confident start from Gibson there. Bugner is the driver we focus on now. Forster is alongside him. Forster, as we mentioned in race 1, has had some brilliant race starts, and actually involving Gillian as well in the reverse grid formats, has had some really confident starts to the racing in various rounds. Unfortunately, it hasn't quite worked out that way here in race 2, but there's still more opportunities later on, and we still have over 15, we have just under 20 minutes in fact of racing to go here at Ricardo Tormo for race 2 for Forster to make an impact. Bugner then is the driver we remain focused on, just behind Andy Carroll as we move to Craig Curtis. Craig Curtis on the podium obviously in round 1. We've just had a quick chat with him and he's up into P6. Sorry, make that P7 as he hunts down P6 and just gets ahead of Andy Dorman there. 2 very well-known VRRC drivers at this point. 2 very capable drivers who I'm sure are going to give us a great battle.
I'm sure they will. P5, Gabe Norse already worked his way up from 10th on the grid, so really great progress for him. Oliver Gibson, all he can do here is try and stay ahead of Gabe Norse. Gabe, remember, got the fastest lap in the first race as well, and picked up the fastest lap point as well. So we're looking at Craig Curtis and Alex Forster. Alex Forster in 6th position as they come along and complete the first lap. And Gabe Norse now up into 4th place at the expense of Andy Cowan. He's got the inside line teed up, and he's not that far away from Christian Gillian and Scott Bugner, who are engaging in a little bit of battling as well. So Gabe Norse already within arm's reach of a potential podium position, and maybe make a couple of steps up as well. But he's got Andy Carroll looking up his inside. Andy Carroll wants to try and take that 4th position back from him and get on the podium himself. Runs over the curbs there, can't quite do it. So it's Norse that hangs on to 4th position. Carroll followed by Craig Curtis, Alex Forster. Again, we've got a little bit of a train beginning to develop. Gabe Norse probably biting his nails there as people nibbling away up the inside, and he'll be hoping that there aren't any lunges. Well, it wasn't a lunge, it was a good move. He makes it up into 3rd place now, so it's Gibson from Scott Bugner, and then Gabe Norse in 3rd place. So Gibson, Bugner and Norse. Christian Gillian 4th. Christian holding up at the sharp end really well, and I think probably we've got to say echoing the form that we saw in race 1. I mean, he got up into the top 10, and he's proved why. He seems to be at home with this track and maintaining a good, strong early performance.
He is indeed into that top 5 now. Carroll having a look around down the inside there, has to settle for P6. Forster hanging on with P7 here, so still some points to be had from that position. Is by no means a bad position to be in. I mean, he's got so many cars directly up in front of him, so could be anywhere within the next couple of laps from this position as long as he keeps the nose clean. We've certainly seen some really impressive drives from Forster in the past, so hopefully we can round off the season with that as well. Gibson, meanwhile, out in front, a 3.5-second race lead already with the new fastest lap. He is quite confident, quite comfortable out in front there of his attempts to take the leading charge in this championship battle. It will be very interesting to see how that develops. Norse is only a couple of positions behind for the time being, but is also obviously in the midst of some battling traffic here, as we have Curtis and Gillian. A little bit of contact there, but that doesn't phase the cars all that much. Gillian continues on. Curtis has a look down the inside, go near enough side by side, while Carroll is just behind, very much on the defence against Forster there. Great stuff. 2 battling duos here. Can we make it a quartet if they do go side by side? Even more so. Gillian might be under threat as Curtis gets a good run into the left-hander here. Contact once again between the two, but the cars stay stable. That's why people like an Audi. They are a nice, stable platform, and they seem to be working wonders for Curtis and Gillian at the moment. Gillian goes down the inside. We still are somehow side by side, as once again a bit of door bashing goes on. No harm, no foul it looks to be, though, as we exit the left-hander. Gillian just about takes the top step of this battle, but no, it's going to change once again, Richard.
It is that first little tap was only 7 miles an hour. I'm not sure about the last one that we've just seen. I think that was a slightly lesser one.
Yeah.
And it will come into. I think if the knocks are over a certain speed, then they do automatically attract the attention of the clerk of the course. This bun fight that we've got here, of course, is allowing our top 3 to get away and break by 3.5 seconds at the moment. So Gibson 3.2 seconds clear of Bugner. Bugner under pressure from Gabe Norse for 2nd place, but then he's capped back to Craig Curtis, who is in 4th place. And we're on board with Andy Carroll looking at Gillian and Forster going side by side. So remember, they started up at the sharp end of this one. They're still battling, so they're holding their own at the moment. A little bit squirrely there goes Christian Gillian, and does that scrub off a bit of speed? Look at this pack. This is absolutely superb. Pack racing here, but it could all go one way. How they're all keeping it facing the right direction, I don't know. Some very good car control going on there. Calm down, lads. We've still got 14 minutes to go.
Oh dear, the back end kicks out on Carroll's car there. That does punt Andy. That is Dorman off and into the gravel there. What a shame for him. Bit of a passenger in that one. It's a bit of a racing incident, really. You know, I'm sure there was no intent there. But Dorman, unfortunately, losing quite a lot of momentum. He's back out on track at least. Meanwhile, Norse is having a look around the outside of Bugner here. This is a 2-horse battle for P2 here, as it turns out to be. Norse versus Bugner. Bugner being the big stopper for Norse in his fight for this championship, while Gibson is able to just walk away. As we can see, a bit of opposite lock there for Norse as he tries to find a way around Scott Buckner, who just looks nice, calm and composed in comparison out in P2.
I mean, Scott always says in his interviews, and I apologise to everyone for repeating this, but he always says, I'm going to get the elbows out. And he does that. And to my mind, you know, even psychologically would make him one of the more difficult drivers to pass. Gabe knows that. He also knows that he's got 13 minutes. He'll probably also know that if he finishes second to Oliver Gibson, he's only going to lose about 5 points. And it might be 4 points because he's on for fastest lap right now, the man in P2. Who's now done it, so it is, well, on my timing screen it says Gabe Norse P2, it's just refreshed that, Bugner's back up there. So if he gets into second position, it will be, it's the fastest lap. I'm hesitating because the fastest lap was changing between Gabe Norse and Scott Bugner. But roundabout, if he finishes second, it will be roundabout 5 points. So at the moment, yeah, Gabe Norse is in P2, makes it through, and it means the championship lead will be Gabe to Oliver by 20 points, basically going into race 3. And a bit of contact there with Christian Gillian once again and Andy Carroll, so very physical, a little bit further back. We'll keep our eyes on the lead amount, which is 4.7, 4.8 seconds, Oliver Gibson to Gabe Norse, but this could give Gabe a 20-point advantage going into the final race. I'm still keeping my eye on the bottom of the timing screen because I'm guessing if Jack Smith does get in, I'm guessing he could join the server late and get some practice laps.
Yeah, that would be, I'm sure, very beneficial to him at this point. As we can see, Carroll currently running along in P8, trying to keep pressure on Kenny Press. Now, we haven't seen too much from him so far this evening. But I did have a brief look. It's about a 3 and a bit hour drive, I think, there or thereabouts, for Jack Smith. I do like how we've got this secondary story of the evening of how is Jack Smith driving along the motorway. And these are, yeah, currently you've got a 3 hour journey to complete, so hopefully he's able to have that finished before the end of the proceedings this evening. As there we go down the inside, Andy Carroll gets away ahead of Kenny Press there. But also, I'm just thinking about this this battle at the front end of the pack, which isn't a battle at the moment, really, as we look at Sam Walton there. 5 seconds there or thereabouts between Gibson and Norse. We have seen multiple second leads be drunk in race 1. It would be a big ask for it to be done from that much, though, as we see Sam Walton is involved in a bit of contact there. He does correct the car, does collect it quite nicely, so well done for picking that one up, and is able to continue on in P9. Meanwhile, Carroll is up into P7. But yeah, it's going to be a close one, isn't it, Richard, for the Gibson Norse battle for the championship as it stands?
It is, yeah. I'm going to have to get the abacus out for race 3 for sure, as Jack Dickerson sees in the top 10. So well done, Jack, for getting it. So a really good performance. We've just got to try and keep an eye on those drivers that are sort of working their way up from outside of the reversed section of the top 10 grids that we've had. As Scott Bugner, again, really determined in his chase here of Gabe Norse. Bugner's best lap, a 141.07, so he's only a tenth or so down on Gabe Norse. He's really working that car hard, and you can see why. He loves his front wheel drive. He knows that so well, that car, and he's staying within arm's length, isn't he, of the P2 driver at the moment. So this is really good stuff from Scott Bugner. And if they work together, is there much of a tow around here? If they work together, would they be able to claw in Oliver Gibson? Probably not 4 seconds with the standard of those 3 drivers over a remaining 10 minutes.
Yeah, not long to go in this one now as Gibson sets a new fastest lap. Piercy and Carroll now having a bit of a battle, and as Piercy late on the brakes as he does, the back end of the car actually gets a little bit upset. He's so harsh on the brakes there, but Piercy up into P7. Gibson continuing on, probably not quite seeing a threat just yet from Norse, but just making sure that there's that nice 5 second margin just in case.
Yeah, all good stuff. Rich Hayden now up into the top 10, so it's been a little bit of a change there with Jack Dickerson down to 12th place now. Paul Laramie ahead of him, and Rich Hayden into the top 10. So good stuff between those guys, making a little bit of progress. I think it was, I think Paul Laramie's done quite well to get back, because I'm fairly sure he was one of the cars that went off in the early stages towards the back, doing a bit of an Ollie Gibson from race 1. But Gibson here, we'll find out what happened with Ollie in race 1, because at the moment he's still on for that podium, and the gap 4.85 seconds to Norse. Scott Bugner just half a second down as we watch the Carroll and Hayden battle. We don't get too much coverage of Rich Hayden over the last couple of rounds, he's, I think, struggled to sort of put himself up into the top 10. He got wiped out in one of the races last week, which there was a disqualification for, and now here he comes down the inside. We are seeing Rich Hayden on form here, but having said that, goes a little bit deep on the exit, gets a whack for his troubles as well from Andy Carroll, and loses the place back.
Yeah, great to see Rich getting into the thick of it here, enjoying some what looks to be very entertaining and battling. So I'm sure he's having a nice time. I do wonder if his misfortunes in some parts of the season have actually just been a well-veiled strategy to keep away from the podium interviews, perhaps. If so, it's shrewd thinking from Rich Hayden there.
I think he likes a microphone.
I can tell you what, though, he's certainly wrestling this E36 for everything that it's got. We've seen the back end of it squirming around plenty, both on throttle application and on the braking as well. So he's really exercising that car quite nicely. It's always good, and I really enjoy seeing a race car, or even a road car for that matter. As I was recently at the Nurburgring at the Tours Fair, and it's fabulous to just see, even a regular road car right at the limit of its grip, really being pushed to the absolute limit. So great to see him enjoying his race car out there.
It is good to see, yeah, and hopefully everyone else is as well. Andy Dorman getting stuck in. He's down in 13th, so not used to seeing Andy Dorman that far back. It's been a while, I think, since Andy Dorman was that far back. I think we go back to Pascani, where he had an 18th place. So not the race for him, not the evening for him at all. Quick look at Scott Bugner. Again, still within arm's reach of Gabe Norris. Gabe's maybe stretched it out a little bit over Scott, but again, really good challenging drive from Scott Bugner, as we saw from Oliver Gibson in race 1. In Oliver's case, of course, coming through from the very back of the grid. Scott here trying to prove he doesn't want to give up, and he's really wringing the neck of the Audi, as we saw several drivers, including Scott actually last week, doing. So working really hard, and you've got to say, probably keeping Gabe honest. Gabe will be aware that car is there. He's not really putting him under pressure, but there is a presence there in the rearview mirrors. With Craig Curtis not that far back, Alex Forster in 5th, Christian Gillian still having a nice strong 6th place, so he's built on getting 10th in race 1, so well done Christian, maybe setting himself up for consideration for driver of the round. Lee Piercy 7th, Rich Hayden 8th, Sam Walton back into our top 10 in 9th place, and Andy Carroll wrapping up the top 10 at the moment. As we catch up with Jack Dickerson, nice to see Jack running and getting a chance to look at some of the other runners, which is good to see. Good to see. They tick off another lap. I haven't even been looking at the clock in this one. We've got 5 minutes to go, so quarter of the race left.
Yeah, time absolutely flies when you're having fun, as we can see. Dickerson under threat here as Atkins goes down the inside. Had a nice bit of a slingshot into that first corner. Maybe goes a little bit too deep into it, which is going to give Dickerson the corner back, and he is able to take that place back there. So nice work there, Jack, but also well done, Ollie. Great little battle ensuing as we have battles throughout the field, which is what we want to see. Is we want to make sure that everyone's having some fun out on track, no matter where they are placed out on the standings. As Andy Carroll is currently in 10th, just behind Sam Walton and Rich Hayden for the time being. So still in the top 10, maybe not where he would have wanted to have been, perhaps, but at least he's been kept busy, shall we say, so far in this race. He's certainly had plenty to talk about, hasn't he? So he currently runs along in P10. There's a nice margin to Laramie just behind. Laramie is under some pressure at the moment. It looks like the car behind there. He's in the midst of his own great battle. By the looks of things, as we do now properly enter the final quarter of this race. Really not long to go. I must say, so far, thoroughly enjoying Ricardo Tormo. What a venue it looks to be for these touring cars. So I do hope, as Kieran Haynes was saying before, that we see it again on the calendar, on another calendar at some point.
Yeah, it's not on the touring car one. I think we're talking Formula Ford as well, and I don't think it's likely to be on the Formula Ford calendar. So you might have to wait for the autumn, which seems an awful long way away. But we're already
be here before we know it.
It will be, I think the Legends cars are 1 meeting away from the halfway point of their season already, the National Legends. And the touring cars, we've had a 5th of the series already. So, yeah, it all flies by rather quickly, doesn't it? As we watch Andy Carroll still trying to close in on Sam Walton, Andy Dorman a little bit further back, and trying to close in. What's the gap at the moment? So it was 5 seconds, 4.9 at the moment. Yeah, so it's still Oliver Gibson with fastest lap from Gabe Norse, and they are running 1 and 2. So this is Oliver really sort of doing his virtual fight back, and it will get the championship lead down to think 19 points at the moment. So, you know, basically 19 will goes from first to third. So if Ollie won the final and Gabe Norse was third, it's all going to come down to fastest lap. But realistically, what we're saying at the moment is if things stay the same going into race 3, Gabe Norse has just got to keep Ollie ahead of him, just follow him home to get the championship, unless Jack Smith comes in. But I think one would say now that if Jack's losing 20 points on the form that we're seeing from Ollie and Gabe in this one, it's probably game over now for Jack Smith.
Yeah, which is a terrible shame, but such is the way of racing sometimes. It's not to take away what has been an otherwise brilliant season from him. I mean, he has been a formidable force throughout the year. But I remember chatting to Jack very early on. It was around to Bathurst, I believe, early on, and he didn't seem, to be honest, that all that fuss that he might be on for another championship or anything like that. He was just really pleased. In his own words, he said that he was just pleased to go racing and have some fun again. So. Which is a great attitude to have, and I can't wait to see what else he'll do in the upcoming seasons that we've got this year.
And we can take the facts and put them how we want. You know, I could go on a live broadcast now and say that Century Motorsport lost him the championship. And I'm sure Nathan Freak would be delighted for me saying that, you know, on a TV broadcast. But comes down to context again, doesn't it? I was actually chatting to a sim driver at the weekend. One of the drivers won the Porsche. One of the Porsche Championship, won 11 grand. So, you know, Rich Hayden needs to sort of up the game a little bit to try and get some prize money. Obviously, Porsche have got 11 grand that they can give people to win theirs. But talking to this particular driver about rule bending and so on and so forth, not only in real world championships, but you know, whether it can be done in Assetto or iRacing or otherwise. And this guy gave me a really good perspective of what can and can't be done and how you can protect yourself from it. And I've said, you do realise that, you know, I could misrepresent you now, having had this conversation. I could go on air and say how much you know about cheating. I said, don't worry, and he looked horrified, but I said, don't worry, I'm not going to do that. I'm hoping he's going to join us for a championship at some point, because he's a very handy peddler, and he'd be a really good driver to add to the mix of, you know, Gabe Norse, Jack Smith, Scott Bugner, and all those guys. You know, it'd be good to have a champion driver from, you know, from elsewhere coming and having a go with us. So we'll see whether we can get him, but I'm guessing he chases the money on the iRacing, which is you know, fair play to him, but not what we're about here. This is more about a bit of fun.
And absolutely is, and Curtis might be on for one last bit of fun in this race potentially. We've not got long to go. He's closing up on Scott Bugner again. Another two drivers that we've seen over a number of seasons now in the VRRC. They know each other well. They know how to battle each other well. And we could be on for one last fight potentially if Craig Curtis can maybe sniff some blood and might be thinking, right, one last push. Let's go for that podium with very little in this race to go. He's found about 0.2 of a second in this half of the lap, so has made some inroads here, but it will be quite difficult because we've not got that BMW versus Audi straight line delta. It's going to be, you know, a pretty even drag race down that start finish straight into that first corner. It will be a battle that rewards bravery, which is, you know, certainly a good thing. We do like to see that as the timer does get very close to hitting zero.
Yep, we are very nearly there, and because he's been running out on his own, we haven't seen a huge amount of our race leader, but here he is, the master of this one, at his work, at his craft, Oliver Gibson, 5.2 seconds clear. He's actually managed to extend the gap, still got the fastest lap. The championship lead is going to come down to 19 points, and he's delighted. We're looking forward to having a catch up with Oliver Gibson in a minute, but he takes the win. Well done, Ollie. With Gabe Norse, another fine drive. Remember, from 10th on the grid, Gabe Norse flashes his lights. He's happy, and we also get to hear from Scott Bugner as well. So really good stuff from those guys. Craig Curtis will come across the line in 4th position. 5th at the moment is Alex Forster. So a really good, strong finish from Alex. Best result for a couple of rounds actually for Alex Forster, so well done, mate. Christian Gillian in 6th place. Christian was on the podium, wasn't it, at Bathurst? So, you know, good to see him up there. 7th was Lee Piercy, 8th Rich Hayden, 9th was Andy Carroll, 10th was Sam Walton, Andy Dorman in 11th, Paul Laramie 12th from Jack Dickerson and Ollie Atkins, Kieran Haynes 15th from Kenny Press, Robert Shefford Shepherd, beg your pardon, and Chris Blakey in 18th. And we'll have a word with our top three in a couple of minutes.
Early stages of the second Legends Cars race.
So, our second podium of the evening, and Reeve's going to do the honours with our first interview on this one, and I'm going to get my abacus out and just double check the points. Over to you, Reeve.
So while Richard does his best Rachel Riley impression, Scott, how are you doing? Congratulations on P3. Great to see you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Lovely to be back here in the VRRC. It's been a little while before this season since I've been back in, so it's been really good to catch up with the action. It looks to be a really fun season overall as well. Have you enjoyed it so far, Scott? Well, say so far. Have you enjoyed it in all?
I have. Yeah, I have enjoyed it. It's been they've been a lot harder to drive than I was expecting. You know, when Rich said front wheel drive cars, I was like, yes, but they're a lot harder than they've got such different strengths and weaknesses compared to the BMW. Which is good. It's what evens it out. But yeah, it's been really hard, but really good. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, we do know that you're a bit of a front-wheel drive enthusiast, aren't you? You've had many successes with that in your racing in the past. So I'm perhaps, given your good results here so far as well this evening, not too shocked that you feel there's a bit of a front-wheel drive drought, don't you, coming up in the VRRC?
Yeah, I put my complaint into Rich. You know, I said I wasn't happy, but no, I'm definitely getting quicker with rear wheel drive. I'm not quite the Jack Smiths and Ollie Gibsons and Gabriel Norses, but I'm definitely going to keep pushing them to the limit where I can. So I can only get better. That's what they say. Practice makes perfect. So just keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm sure one day we can be at the top of Jack Smith.
Exactly. I like that spirit there. I think even if you maybe don't feel quite as confident in the rear drive stuff as the front wheel drive stuff, at the end of the day, you'd be a damn sight better than the likes of myself would be in any car. So I'm sure you'll, as you say, you'll be up to speed with the rest and be continuing to have a really good time of it in the VRRC, and I'm sure we'll have plenty more chances to chat to you in the interviews as well. Looking at Ricardo Tormo, then, is this a track you've got much experience at? Yeah, are you pleased to be back here, or pleased to be here at all?
Yeah, I think I've raced here once. I think in maybe in the old touring cars we did, and yeah, it's a good track. I do like it. It's got a nice flow to it, good overtaking points, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what the racing's been like to watch, but it's definitely been good being part of it in on the track. So yeah, no, I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been really good to watch from our point of view as well. Sometimes with some racetracks, you do worry that, yeah, it's great, you know, it's nice and wide, but is that really going to lead to the most exhilarating racing? But it actually, in this case, it's one of those tracks where it seems to do that. It doesn't seem to just make every overtake nice and easy, or maybe not possible at all. It seems to be a really fun track, and certainly one that you have had some good success with this evening. Are you hoping to maybe you spur yourself on a bit? You've got a podium so far this evening. Could we make it a little bit more than that heading into race 3?
It'd be nice, but I think probably where I'm starting is going to be probably second or third. I'm going to have BMWs around me, and they just fly off the line. And I think because we're so evenly matched at the minute, I think it's going to be hard to catch them back up. But hopefully they can battle in front, and I can poodle along and stick with them if possible. And we'll do what we can and go for the win.
Absolutely, I like that idea, and hopefully it goes well for you, Scott. Lovely to chat to you, and congratulations on another podium. Maybe we'll chat to you once again this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Reeve. Thanks, Scott. Well done, Scott. Gabe North, well done, P2. And I get a chance to have a chat with you now. And I reckon a 13-point lead. I've double-checked the maths. It's different to what I thought. Have you done any maths?
I haven't had time to do that yet.
How you doing anyway, first of all? Well done on a great win in race 1. And a super drive in that one as well. But yeah, I think 13-point lead by my maths. But yeah, that could go out of the window. Any pressure, or are you just enjoying yourself?
Just enjoying myself. I mean, when I saw Jack wasn't here, I think my eyes lit up quite a lot, because that was otherwise going to be very difficult to topple.
Good racing as well. I mean, good consistent stuff. No doubt you're going to be on pole for this one. So does that make it more straightforward, or is it harder? You're just going to get your head down and disappear?
Just need to stay ahead of Ollie during this race, and even if I come home second, I think I'm safe according to your maths.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just need to kind of see how this goes. And yeah, I think I should be starting on pole, but yeah, we'll have to see.
I'm pretty sure you will be. Clock's ticking down again, so we'll let you go and get your thoughts together. And I suspect that we'll get to have another chat with you at the end of this race. And I say I hope we do, and I don't mean that in a favouritism kind of way. Just we don't want you to have any bad luck, really, or any of you. So off the front, good luck, have a great race, and well done on your win earlier, and well done on another podium.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Gabe. Let's hand you back to Reeve. He's going to have a quick chat with Ollie.
Well, hello, Ollie. Congratulations on race 2 victory. It must be a very nice way to continue on this reignited championship fight.
Yeah, it went a little bit better than the first race, that's for sure. I mean, I just got a really good start. I've been practicing them this week. I mean, I thought I was getting decent ones, and then I saw what everyone else was getting last week, and I was like, oh, so it's clearly something that needs to be done during the start, and I think I figured it out. So it's just pretty inconsistent at the moment. So the first race I didn't really get a good start, whereas obviously that one was good. But yeah, no, just that first race doesn't quite help, but it is what it is. I'll just head down and I'll just drive. I'm just gonna treat it like a normal race, and yeah. See what happens.
Well, that is a really good mindset to be approaching it with, isn't it? You must know deep down that the stakes are absolutely there, but if you just treat it as just any other race, it's something that you're clearly very good at. You know, you've had some great pace out there. You led very comfortably in race 2, so I'm sure you're going to be on for a good fight nonetheless. And either way, what you got to consider is if it doesn't quite go the way that you might want it to here in race 3, you're still going to be in for a great result in the championship standings overall, aren't you? So you can at least take that away. I have just noticed, I won't go fully into it now because you do need to get onto the grid and ready to go racing, but your nickname in Discord, Oliver Schnobble Gibson.
Yeah. I can explain it to you.
Maybe we can save that for if you have a really good result in race 3, and as our potential reigning champion, Oliver, we can divulge that one. But for now, yeah. Oh, we do. I've just been told, Oliver, we've got time.
Oh, no.
So, you care to explain that rather interesting Discord nickname?
I was pretty annoyed after one round. And I went back in the voice chat and I was like, honestly, I'm so angry. I feel like nuclear. And then I think Jack changed it to that. So there you go.
That is.
It used
brilliant.
to be what was it? It used to be like Shell Oils because I just drove off at Alton one time, and then obviously I must have had a man around, and there it is.
Are these the mind games that your championship rival does like to play? Is it, Oliver?
Oh, must be. Must be. No, to be fair, it's just a bit of fun. I think there's quite a few. I can't remember which one my favourite is. John Jones has a pretty good one. Is I'll turn in, which he's not here, but
self-explanatory.
Yeah. It's fair enough. It suits him, but yeah, no, it's just a bit of fun.
No, it is, and it's nice to see that community spirit, and everyone seems to have a load of fun. I think even if, some people might not be pleased with how the next upcoming race, our final race of the season goes, I'm sure everyone will have had a really good time. One last bit, Oliver. Have you enjoyed these touring cars? Are you looking forward to the GT cars coming up next?
Yeah, it's nice to. I mean, we did the modern touring cars, so it's nice to go back and drive these instead. But GT will be it'll be a good one. Obviously, lots of different manufacturers and stuff. So, and way different tracks to this. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Should be good.
Yeah, it should be indeed, Oliver. Congratulations on race 2 victory. I am going to let you go and get on the grid and get ready for the final race, but congratulations once again.
Cheers, thank you.
Thanks, Ollie. Well done on the win. Thanks, Reeve, as well, for doing the honours there. It leads us into our last race. Yeah, I've tried to double check the mess. I think 13 points. It didn't equate to what I was thinking as race 2 was unfolding, but by my reckoning, that's the gap anyway. All the results are provisional anyway, aren't they? But there is our lineup for our finale, and it's absolutely spot on, isn't it? We've got 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 on the grid. Gabe Norse and Oliver Gibson. Craig Curtis lines up 3rd, Scott Bugner 4th. We're in for a treat, really, whatever happens. Alex Forster on row 3. He's had a good evening so far. Well done, Alex. Christian Gillian up there as well. Remember coming in from outside the top 10 at the early part of this meeting, the opening of this meeting. Andy Dorman 7th. We can expect him to maybe put a bit of a challenge in and try to climb up the order. That's actually not too bad for Andy. I think he didn't have the best of luck in race 2. And the other Andy Carroll next to him. And top 10 completed by Kieran Haynes and Ollie Atkins, the 2 teammates together on row 5. So a mouthwatering prospect of a battle ahead for Kieran and Ollie. But we go to the other Ollie and Gabe Norse up front as the lights are about to go out. And our final race of the campaign about to get underway here at Ricardo Tormo, and it is Gabe Norse that goes into the lead. Decent start by Ollie Gibson slotting into P2. Is this going to be the start of a race-long battle, or are we going to see Gabe Norse chip away and build a lead? I'm not sure who's got the fastest lap of the meeting so far. Probably should start noting fastest laps down over the individual races as we go, but they're side by side for the lead out front, and it is Gabe Norse though that controls the race well, picks the correct racing line for him as we get Craig Curtis in 3rd place, putting pressure here on Oliver Gibson. It's Scott Bugner back in 4th place at the moment, Alex Forster 5th, Andy Dorman in P6 making a little bit of progress as well, but Gabe Norse and Oliver Gibson both held their nerve through the first 2 or 3 corners and continue to do so at the moment, and this is not a bad thing. Get into some race rhythm, not let anybody really get away, and then start maybe to fight it out.
Yeah, these 2 drivers doing absolutely everything they need to, particularly Norse, who, as we say, has got a great start here and is already putting 1 foot forward in the right direction there. We go back to Lee Pearce, who has been the source of many great pieces of action so far this evening. He's currently in P8, has Carroll and Atkins for company. Atkins having a look down the inside already. Doesn't want to do anything too brash with a full tank of fuel and so much race time to go, but is just certainly making his presence known for the time being, although Rich Hayden is keeping Atkins under pressure. We have yet another massive train. We've got a proper intercity going on in this first part of race 3, all staying in single file, all of our drivers all staying nice and close together, waiting for an opportunity to try and get a bit of a battle on as we get ready to bring an end to the first lap of the race.
Yeah, what a first lap it was, nice and calm, and you know, there's a lot to be said, as I've said over the course of the previous rounds, you know, for having the reverse grids, you know, whether it's partial or total reverse for the final race. But there's also a really good argument, and I know it was Alan Bowles that made the argument for having fastest off the front, being a traditionalist, I suppose. And it's given us some really great racing, and I think this is entirely and wholly appropriate for a championship finale, that where you've got, you know, it's worked out exactly right. Gabe and Oliver off the front, Craig Curtis and Scott Bugner trying to give chase. What a muddle it would have been if it would have been a reverse grid with these 2 trying to sort of bundle their way through the field, and who knows what might have happened. I know we still might have something happening, but you know, either way, you have to say that it should reward the top scoring drivers of the series and probably the meeting as well, which is how it's worked out. Anyway, enough of that. We're looking back from Craig Curtis in 3rd position. Scott Bugner trying to hunt him down and get another podium. Scott always there or thereabouts. Alex Forster chasing Andy Carroll. Lee Pearcey down behind him as well. And nice little train. We've got Ollie Atkins in that mix as well. I think it means we've probably lost Kieran Haynes, haven't we? I think Kieran maybe was bumped off early doors. Remember, Ollie and Kieran started on row 5, and Kieran down in 16th place with, in fact, 17th now, because Robert Shepherd's just managed to nip past him as well. So hopefully I hope Kieran and Ollie come back and do our GT Championship. That will be good to see how our single-seater or kart drivers get on. in that. Joined us for the Formula Ford Championship. And again, that sort of variety we've had with VRRC in terms of we had the Scottish Legends, we've had Formula Ford, we've got touring cars, and now we're going sports car racing next time as well. So the whole variety, the whole gamut being covered. As Alex Forster getting a workout here from Lee Pearson. It's Lee on the outside line now in the blue, yellow and white car. And I thought was going to chop back tidily on the inside. He couldn't help that little bit of contact, but he's gone through.
He has indeed. I think that traditional Audi understeer may be just catching him out at perhaps the wrong moment, still pointing in the right direction overall, which is the most important thing. And he's down in 9th at the moment. Might have Rich Hayden for company, whereas Carroll is up into P5, keeping that pressure on Andy Dorman. So we're going to see another great battle between these two drivers as they seem to be leading that mid-pack charge here. The likes of Bugner and Curtis a little bit ways up the road, but they are clear, these two, of the likes of Piercy and Atkins. So nice fight for P5 here, some decent points to be had as they now complete, or they're about to complete the first quarter of this final race of the season. I have been watching, keeping one eye as well on Norse and Gibson at the front end of the pack in terms of their timings. They are staying nice and close together, not breaking away from Curtis, who is just heading into the background, back of shot there. But they are trading fastest laps already, so we know what I think the big fight is going to be between, and it is going to be a fight for the championship. It's going to be a fight for this race as well. So far, it is advantage Norse, but let's see what Gibson can do.
That's a great thing, isn't it? We've got sort of two issues that we need to think about. You know, one is the championship, and we'll come to points at some stage. But the other thing is that, you know, we've got these guys that both had a win each. So both dominant wins. They both had wins with fastest lap. So this is kind of the decider for the meeting as well as the championship. And Ollie Gibson, yep, driving very, very well at the moment. And he was good when I came into VRRC, but he's just even better now, and he's grown in confidence. Obviously, he always gives a shout out to Jack for helping him with advice and setup and coaching. We should probably give Jack's driving school a little bit of a shout out. I know he's not here, but I know everyone at the Hop Cavern will want to wish Jack well. He third position. I don't know if he's going to maintain third in the championship as well, ahead of Andy Dorman. I think Andy might potentially get close to him, but we'll work that out when we get into the final interviews. But coming back to this at the moment, obviously, if Gabe Norse finishes ahead of Ollie, game over anyway. If Ollie gets past and Gabe finishes second, that is still okay. And I think Gabe could probably drop to third and would still keep the championship going as well. But as a multi-sim champion, Gabe Norse is not going to even want to give up the lead. He won't be thinking about championship tactics unless something untoward happens. He'll want the win, and a straightforward win ahead of Ollie Gibson here as we watch Scott Bugner trying to close in on Craig Curtis. And this has been atypical, isn't it, of Scott Bugner through the meeting so far, elbows out, and, you know, just trying to get that Audi on terms with cars in front.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see a great battle now between Lee Pearcy and Andy Carroll once again. It's going to be Pearcy around the outside. Carroll stays tight to the inside before we complete the final corner of this lap. Still, we get to enjoy another BMW versus Audi drag race. It's the BMW nose out in front, but it's going to be the Audi of Carroll who has the inside line here. Might be able to go later on the brakes. We'll have to see if that works out for the blue and orange liveried car. It doesn't work out that way. Pearcy does go deep into that first corner, but keeps his car out in front. He does give the position, though, to Carroll heading into that second corner there. So it's Andy Carroll up into P6. After all is said and done, and I'm still seeing, you know, fastest laps being traded between those top two drivers there. And I think plaudits absolutely do have to go out to Oliver Gibson in this scenario. Now, the pressure is absolutely there for him, and he is against a very, very fast driver. This is not an easy fight for the championship, so even if he doesn't come away with that top step, he can be very pleased and very happy with himself as to how he's done this season, because he's had some very formidable competition.
He has, yeah, 100%. Just looking at our top 10, Alex Forster running strong. We need to start thinking about driver of the round as well.
We do.
It probably won't hurt if we have a second win of the season for driver of the round. But I've been looking at sort of outside the top 10 as well. At some of the performance from the previous race, not necessarily cutting it in this one, which is a little bit of a pity. But oh, look at that sideways stuff from Ollie Gibson. He is absolutely going for it to try and close down on Gabe Norse. That was pure determination from him. Norse looking very smooth though at the moment, but significantly Gabe Norse not getting away as he did in race one. Now I was doing sums. Did we get to ask Ollie what happened at the beginning of race 1?
I actually completely forgot, so apologies for
No worries,
that one,
no,
Richard.
okay.
I was, for some reason, too busy being preoccupied as to his Discord nickname, which is poor motorsport journalism on my part there, really.
That is still a story, and I think that is, the viewers need to know that. So that's absolutely fine. I was sort of keeping one ear on it. I thought, hang on, I might have missed it, or I was doing me sums, but no, that's not a problem. But we can. Well, it's gone now anyway, isn't it? But. Never mind. Not a problem. But anyway, he went off. We know he probably would have been part of a bang or a crash or something to go off as we watch Ollie Atkins trying to close down on Andy Carroll, with Alex Forster and Rich Hayden next up. And Rich has made it into the top. I don't know if Becky is around as well. Becky normally watches these.
She's just jumped back into the broadcast chat. Good timing, Richard.
Ah, okay. So Becky might want to throw some. Is that the broadcast? Is that on Discord or is that on the YouTube one?
On the YouTube comments, and I was thinking, I'm glad we're thinking along the same lines here. So wouldn't it be good to get a bit of our viewers' thoughts on maybe who's there driving around been? And
yeah, I don't get to read the YouTube ones unfortunately because I've got enough open. I've got Discord open, I've got a timing screen open, and my PC open. So YouTube, no. But if Becky, if you want to put something in the Discord chat, the private, the elite chat. well, you're welcome to do that. It would be good to hear from you.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm there as well. I can't be
oh
that
no,
elite.
you are the elite guy. I'm definitely not, but it's still got a gravelly voice after God knows how long. But still trying to shake off the bug. But anyway, here we go. We're on with a bugner in 4th place, trying to close down on Craig Curtis at the moment. This is a workout, and Scott and Craig might be in line for driver of the round. Certainly they are. Entertaining us royally. Equally, Gabe Norse might be with winning championship, but it might be a bit corny giving driver of the round to the guy that wins the championship. But he has not seemed to succumb to any pressure, Gabe Norse here. He's just sort of risen to the day so far. But equally, Oliver Gibson did as well. He could have, felt a little bit out of it after, crashing out or being pushed off or whatever happened at the start of the first race. But he came back from that and then rubber stamped it with a winning race too. So lots of different options for driver of the round as we watch Andy Carroll with Ollie Atkins back behind as well. Alex Forster next up, Rich Hayden. I think it'd be nice if we future series maybe have a little rookie competition as well. For trouble is, I think you don't know whether a rookie is someone who is brand new or someone might have 5 years of iRacing behind them and come in as a rookie. So that'd be quite difficult to monitor, wouldn't it?
Have to start auditing Steam profiles, etc.
More work for Rich.
Either way, 8 minutes to go in this one now. As you say, we're on board with Bugner. He's under pressure from Craig Curtis here, so it's going to be one of our final battles of the season. Yeah, it'd be great to see our viewers from home. I know obviously we have some supporters for some drivers who are probably going to put their vote for a given driver, but drive the round. What are you guys thinking at home? I'd be very curious to see from that point of view what we do think, as Gibson set a new fastest lap of the race in a 1:40.6. That's a really handy time there, with 7 minutes left on the clock. As Buckner is responding well to this threat from Craig Curtis from behind here. He heads into that first corner, as he has done on the defence on a number of occasions this evening. Buckner almost doesn't really look like he's doing that much of a defensive drive at the first part. It just seems to be he's running along comfortably. He isn't phased by what's going on, and he seems to be very measured in his driving as we go on board with Atkins, who is putting pressure on Andy Carroll here. Another protagonist in the racing this evening has Carroll and Atkins been, and they're going to continue that to the final part of the racing.
Yeah, they will. So too will Andy Dorman, who's had a good one in this one. And again, don't know what happened to him in the previous race, but Andy up into 5th place behind Craig Curtis and trying to close down on Scott Bugner. Obviously, we're on board with Ollie Atkins with Alex Forster behind. Something you look in the mirrors, you can see Ollie Atkins a fair way ahead of Alex Forster at the moment, with Rich Hayden trying to get involved with Alex as well. 11th place is Chris Blakey, Jack Dickerson in 12th, Paul Laramie 13th. And again, it always amazes me, Reeve, when I look at these names, and many of them been on podiums, many of them taken wins, and how they're not disappointed to be down that end of
Good
Big
save
sideways
there
moment
by
for
Ollie
Ollie.
Watkins.
Good save though. Yeah, I was going to say it could be easy to get disheartened because we've got so many good drivers right the way through this field, and most of them are capable of podiums at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely, which just goes to show just how healthy that is for the competitive order. I think Ollie Watkins just put a very good vote in for himself as driver of the round with that bit of sliding action there. He did well to collect that one. As we go on board with Oliver Gibson, still putting that pressure on Norse, has done a very good job, it must be said, of a long part of the duration of this race. Keeping Norse in check, waiting for that potential chink in the armour to arise, for a potential issue to present itself in front of him. It hasn't done so just yet, but Gibson's done everything that he realistically can do from that position out on track.
At the moment, we're heading for the same drivers on the podium that we had in race 2, and largely because of the follow-through on points, and it's the top point scorer starting at the front in this one. But Scott Bugner's done a grand job in the Audi, still in third place. The two Beamers up front with, these two out front have done a super job. I'm really torn, so I'm going to be interested what the viewers will say on the chat as Rich Hayden gets to have a look at Alex Forster and just gets it a little bit tight, loses, but fair play. Faint heart never kissed a pig. Rich Hayden having a good old go there. Doesn't quite work out for him. Now he's got to build all that momentum up again.
He does indeed, as Forster continues on then looking relatively unfazed as Gibson's back up into P2. Well, it remains in P2, sorry. Has just dropped around about a 10th. We have 5 minutes to go. It's not an insurmountable gap at this point. It is looking like that championship slips away, obviously, with Norse's performance out in front. And these two, as I say, have done a very commendable job indeed. They found a few seconds above the likes of Bugner, Curtis and Dorman behind. A real two-horse race for the championship in the end. Just seems to be the horse of Norse is the car leading.
Yeah, doing a sterling job at the moment. It is the battle for the race, isn't it now, as well as the battle for the championship. And so we're not going to see Jack Smith. Just looking back at the last time we had a touring car championship, it was the touring car head-to-head, which we ran July to September last year. Jack Smith won that one. Oliver Gibson was third, so he's going to be a step up. Scott Bugner was second in that one. So a lot of the sort of similar names come through and run well. Then we had the BMW GT4 Series, which again was won by Jack Smith. Andy Dorman third on that occasion. Then the Scottish Legends Cars Championship, which was just won by Jack Smith from Charlie Devlin, who's another driver I'd love to see sort of come and race with Jack Nicholson. I think they're all friends, actually. I think someone, Charlie's dad was telling me they're all mates, they all kind of know each other, and I think sort of materialise with each other around the paddock. But I think Charlie Devlin's been doing some real world racing as well, and pretty well. I think a lot of the regular drivers sort of had their eyes opened a little bit when this Super Sim lad came along and did superbly well.
So just 3 minutes to go then in this one. Rich Hayden, a driver we haven't been able to look at all that much in this race weekend or race evening, but one that we certainly do need to take some time to look at, and obviously thank for all of the work that goes on behind the scenes. He does put a lot of effort into keeping this ship sailing, so a big thank you to Rich for all the work that goes on behind the scenes organisationally as well, to many other names which I'm sure we'll discuss as we bring an end to this season. But what a season it has been for myself as well. It's great to be back in the VRRC fold after a little bit of time away, and well, what a season to jump back in for myself, because I'm a big fan of old cars and a big fan of classic motorsport, and combine those two and then ask me to shout about it every Tuesday evening or every so often is right up my street.
And of course, it's been great to have you back and good to work with you again. I was thinking Gabe Norse is going to be the first VRRC champion double champion other than Jack Smith for quite a while if he pulls this one off, and he's a second clear at the moment, having won the Formula Ford 1600s as well. So it was a sterling effort from Gabe there. So a double VRRC, and I know he's won a lot of other championships elsewhere. But yeah, cracking battle going on here, and Alex Forster does that was a send, wasn't it, down the inside, throwing it down the inside.
Bounce back on that email, though. Unfortunately, he remains in P10. Rich Hayden stays in P9, but very much on the defence now. This is going to be a great battle to round out these guys this season. I think another scary fact for Gabriel Norse might be, I think I'm completely right in saying this, is that this will be our first champion who is going to be younger than the car he is driving.
Oh, wow, that's a great stat. That's a great stat. Having said that, though, remember we had the pre-99 Formula Ford, so he's done that twice on the bounce, hasn't he?
Yeah, very true. Ignore that, folks.
But I hadn't thought of it. You planted the thought, Reeve. So well done, mate. That's a really good point. That evaded me all through the Geoff Page Engineering Formula Ford Championship. And yeah, there's talks going on with Alan Bowles about the next Formula Ford competition as well. And you know, it brought a lot of new people into VRRC. So long may that continue. Again, and Alan Bowles is great. He seems to work with Rich Hayden really well too. They both listen to each other, and from where I'm sitting, they're a great pair to work together. So I think we can have another great series coming up as we watch Gabe Norse. 20 seconds on the clock, and it's been a little bit of a masterclass from Gabe this evening. He's done absolutely everything right. Oliver Gibson has tried to take the battle to him when he could, but he's now 2 seconds down. But let's just watch and enjoy our champion-elect on the last few corners.
Yeah, fantastic efforts from Norse all season, and he's really impressed at the likes of Bathurst, the first round that I got to commentate on. He did an immense job. Also, last time out at Mugello, Pascani and Watkins, Glen, really strong rounds. He's going to add another one to that list as he navigates the start-finish straight for one last time. Flash of the headlights in celebration. No longer champion-elect. It's going to be our champion. Oliver Gibson crossing the line in just a moment, followed by Scott Buckner. Then that's your top three from race 3. What a evening's worth of racing to round out a fantastic season. We see that Jack Dickerson still has plenty of fighting to do. As there we go, Sam Walton's up on his side. Over he goes. Haven't seen that for a very long time in the world of sim racing, but Sam Walton has a very much an interesting flourish for a finish there for this season. Dickerson, then, that charge is pretty much brought to an end. He won't have that pressure. Sam, I think, has been able to correct it, get the car back up on 4 wheels. He has, so we'll bring it home. But that's certainly an interesting way to finish the season, isn't it?
It is indeed. You know what? Sam Walton was a Nats Nadger away from being driver of the round last week, and it would have been a pity if he'd done that at the end of last week. But we're getting some donuts as well. Motorsport UK will be finding people for donuts, I'm sure. I think Reeve pretty much ran down everybody there, so that was good stuff. Well done, Oliver Gibson, super P2, but Gabe Norse is a double champion with VRRC now, and in older material. And do you know what? When you get a youngster, and all of these a lot of youngsters here that can drive the older cars and the experience of the older cars, because a lot of the older drivers will tell you, oh, the youngsters today, you know, it's all on a plate for them, it's all mapped out on electronic this and da-da-da. Well, these guys have just proved that that's not the case. So well done to all of them. We are going to have a quick break, and we'll have a word with our podium finishers and our new champion in just a couple of minutes.
I've had a lot of challenges in my life, and Helen was always there, supporting me through everything. Today, we're facing a new challenge. Helen has been diagnosed with a terrible disease. Dementia is nothing less than a worldwide epidemic. Formula One moves fast. By contrast, medical research can be painfully slow. We want to bring some of our Formula One technology into the laboratories. Our charity, Race Against Dementia, will help to accelerate the pace of dementia research. Let's beat dementia together.
So, onto the podium for the final time in our World Touring Car Championship. And Reeve's going to kick us off with an interview with our third place man.
I am indeed. Thank you very much, Richard. And for one last time this season, and the second time this evening, Scott Bugner, congratulations. Another P3. Great to chat to you again.
Yes, I pretty much did what I said was going to happen. The TPMs got away and it weren't quite there, but it was a good race of Craig, and yeah, it was good.
Exactly. You must still be, even if it wasn't quite where you would have wanted to have been. Clearly, you're confident at this track. You seem to have had a really good evening, and still a couple of podiums to come away with. Nothing to cry about, I am sure. So this brings an end to this World Touring Car Championship. Then, are you looking back on it with fond memories? Are there any rounds in particular that stand out to you as ones that you really enjoyed?
I'd probably say my favourite round was Brazil. Me and Jack Smith had, I think, 2 races where we just were door to door for them, and it was probably one of the best races I've had with Jack. It's always clean, it's always good, it's close and it's tough, but yeah, he's definitely someone that I can trust on the track. So yeah, that one there, or this one, because we've had good pace. So, but Brazil just tops it.
Yeah, I mean, Interlagos is always a fantastic track. I can't recall in the brief and often unsuccessful times that I've enjoyed a bit of sim racing myself at Interlagos. You always, it's always, no matter what car you're in, you're always going to have good fun at Interlagos there. But Ricardo Tormo has actually been a new track for myself this evening. Never driven it, never really spent any time there in virtually, and definitely not in the real world as well. But I must say, I think it seems to be a good, fun track, and I think it's a nice way to round out this season's worth of touring cars. But moving on to the World Endurance League, then coming up next, are you looking forward to that challenge? The slight difference in format and the new cars coming up as well.
If Rich is listening, absolutely not, because it's rear-wheel drive. But no, I am. The cars actually feel all right. They feel quite nice and planted. So yeah, I am quite looking forward to it. It's a totally different beast. It's got loads of grip, which the Audi didn't. So that's going to take a little bit of getting used to. And the brakes are absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, I think it'll be good. I think it always takes a race or two just to get into the full swing of it. And but I'm sure we'll be straight on it and hopefully bang on the pace.
Of course, yeah, that'd be great to see that for you, Scott. I mean, feel free. You might have already told your VRRC colleagues they might have seen you practicing yet. Are you willing to divulge what machine you've picked for that one? Are you going to be in something German, or are you going to be something mid-engined and British, or are you going to be something that James Bond might be seen driving?
I've tested all 3, obviously. The Aston, I wasn't a fan of. I just couldn't quite get it to bite where I wanted it to. And the McLaren and the BMW, I'm very, very sort of tight on times, but I have picked the German BMW.
Very nice. So staying German then between the 2 championships.
Yeah. I mean, the BMW's just got a little bit. Because I drive front-wheel drive in real life as well. I like the rear to rotate quite a bit, and the BMW just seems to do that enough that it's controllable, but got that little bit of oversteer that I need. So BMW is what I've chosen. We seem to be okay at the minute in times-wise at Portimao. I think I'm sort of last time I looked, I was quickest, but I think someone's gone a bit quicker now. So we look like we should be on the pace, but it can all change, and I'm sure it will all change.
I'm absolutely sure it will. Wise words there, Scott. Well, big thank you for your time this evening. Congratulations, a double podium here for the final round, and look forward to seeing you next season.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Richard.
Not sure which Richard he's on about. There's so many of us about. It's probably Rich Hayden, I guess. But,
he's
no.
never going to say thank you to me.
No, all the riches.
So on to Peter. Well done, Scott, by the way. 6th position. I think points-wise, probably one of the closest VRRC championships that I've seen over the last couple of years. So Scott 5th, Scott 6th, Andy Carroll 5th, Andy Dorman 4th, Jack Smith 3rd, and Oliver Gibson P2 in the race, P2 in the championship. What did happen at the start of race 1, by the way?
Well, we were just 3. I think trying to count the corners now is 1, 2. It was turn 3. We were 3 wide. I probably should have backed out, so it's my own fault. But yeah, just obviously any tap of these BMWs and they go straight round. So not really much I could do except just avoid it. But it's what it is.
It was a really good. Yeah, I bang on about resilience, but you came back, you got inside the top 10, so gave you a handy start for race 2, and you'd have been at the at the sharp end anyway from had you not gone off, but you bounced back from that really well, and race 2 was perfect for you as well, and really good entertaining stuff in race 3. Had you had pole, then might have been a different matter at the start, but really good to see you and Gabe. Although there wasn't sort of jostling for position, there was jostling in terms of times and performance.
Yeah, it was good fun. I was just after race 1, I knew it was probably a bit out of reach, so I was just having a bit of fun in that last race, just enjoying these cars, enjoying the track. I don't know when we'll race these again, so I was just like, I'll enjoy the car, and then the tyres went never. I was just enjoying the car, and then the tyres started to go at the end. I got some big slides, that was good fun. But yeah, obviously it would have been nice to win, but we've won the teams championship, which is always nice, and second place isn't that bad. It's just always the bridesmaid, never the bride. I think is what it is. But
it'll happen. But yeah, good point. Thank you for mentioning the teams championship side of it, because I'd written a load of stuff down to remember, but forgot about the teams championship. So yeah, you and Jack have done that, and I think it's fair to say as well, when I was reading down the team standings at the start of the broadcast, it was sort of a couple of drivers that have been on their own. If they pair up, that could get even closer as well, couldn't it?
Absolutely. I remember, I think it was that last championship, we had a team form midway through and it properly bunched it up. So if we just there are a few independent drivers, so hopefully if people can get connected, I mean everyone's friendly in VRRC, so I'm sure we'll get a couple more teams next season. But yeah, it would be good. I mean, obviously me and Jack have had pretty good series in this one, so but yeah, no, it would be nice to have a couple more teams up there. And also, yeah, obviously I think you mentioned with Scott about it being really close in the drivers as well, which is nice. So it's looking good.
Yeah, good stuff. So you got 2 Tuesdays off now. So what do? Do you actually get to take your other half out for a couple of evenings, or are you going to be practicing with GT cars?
I might get her practicing GT cars for me. You never know. Just get a DK Academy team going.
That would be a good idea. Do you know what? I think
great.
the next step I was actually talking to someone a couple of weeks ago about getting more. Yeah, there are a lot of women coming into motor racing in the real world, but not many, as I've seen, getting into the sim side of it. So that would be quite good.
Yeah, it'd be good fun. And we went karting over the Easter. We went karting was her first time, so I'm slowly introducing her to it. So I mean, she watches F1 and stuff, but. The actual commission.
You're supposed to say she watches touring cars, by the way, when.
Well, we'll get there. I watched it on Sunday. It was great.
Isn't it
that
good
race too? Oh.
Yeah, absolutely super. I just love the fact that Collard's in it now as well.
Yeah, he was great on Sunday as well. So
yeah, really good. Some real bromances going on in touring cars as well, which kind of adds to it. It's like. Very good. Yeah. But Ollie, well done, mate. Super campaign again. Always enjoy chatting to you. And it's going to be a few weeks before we get to chat again, but I hope you enjoy those. And yeah, look forward to seeing you racing the GTs. Anything you want to say as a sort of an out, or you probably want to do a few thank yous?
Yeah, just a shout out to Lee in the Hop Cabin, because he's over this series especially. He's given out many half pints. So I'm sure he's not too pleased about that. But yeah, I'll see my parents as well. I wasn't feeling great this morning, and they've helped me sort of feel a little bit better.
Good.
And obviously my girlfriend as well watching. She watches every round, so yeah, all good.
Nice one. Well done, Ollie. Congratulations again. Always great to have your company, and wish you well for the break, and we'll catch you in the next series.
Cheers. Thank you.
Another driver that we always love talking to is our race winner and our championship winner. Time to shake and bake. So Reeve's going to pop the questions. Not that question, but the questions.
Well, what a way to start an interview. Thank you, Richard. But Gabriel, congratulations. It's lovely to chat to you once again this evening, this time as a multiple VRRC champion. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty amazing now. I didn't think it would happen after last week, but yeah, it's pretty good.
And you mentioned earlier on in this evening's broadcast that your face kind of lit up. Did that kind of realizing that you actually were mathematically in a lot more of a shout here, did that kind of spur you on? Do you think that found you a few extra tenths out on track?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt a lot more confident when I saw that I was only 1 point behind what would be effectively the championship leader in Ollie. But yeah, it was definitely a bit of a confidence boost to see that I could very easily, well, I say easily, I could definitely win it.
Yeah, and what a great little battle that we had in race 3 in the end. It wasn't necessarily door-to-door stuff, but having that challenge right behind in the form of Ollie Gibson there, as you say, it was quite close, and something could have been very different in this race. Did you get an inkling that maybe what this might be on, and when was that? When during this final race did you think actually this championship's mine?
When I crossed the line, I think. But, yeah, I mean, throughout that race, Ollie was always right behind me, and he got the fastest lap in the end. So he obviously had really good pace in general in around here in these cars. But yeah, it was just quite a good race.
Yeah, it really was. We were saying on broadcast while it was taking place that we were really impressed with not only yourself but all your other competitors as well. It's been a really closely fought and very capable field at the top end in particular there, and you've all done a very good job to have had the results that you've had. We were also chatting about how you seem to have a bit of a habit of doing really well in these old classic races from a bygone era. Is this a bit of a habit? Maybe you're going to start looking at doing a bit more driving of the old classic machines. Feels weird calling these classics. I remember them being not that old.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really driven classics that much before. I've always kind of preferred the newer stuff. But yeah, it's been interesting driving them because they're a lot less assisted and just a lot more kind of, you need to be really on the edge and you can't manage anything, you just need to go for it all the time. Whereas I find in a lot of the newer cars you have to manage yourself through the races, which just isn't as fun to do.
Very interesting. Great to hear that. But we are going to be returning to some of our more modern machinery in the upcoming season. Have you had any chance to get any practice in for that? Have you got any ideas of what car you might be looking at? Do you like the selection of tracks on offer?
I mean, currently I'm not signed up for it purely because I'm doing my GCSEs at the moment, and fair enough. Yeah, and I mean, over summer I've just got a lot of stuff planned. But I mean, if anything changes, I'll definitely try and join up to the championship. But yeah, it looks interesting. I'd like to do it, but I just need to see how things go.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rich.
I was about to say Rich Hayden might disagree with me, but I think you got your priorities pretty much spot on there.
I agree with him. Get your exams in.
Yeah, good luck with those, Gabe. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, really important stuff, to be honest. And the racing will be here. If you can dip in for the odd one, that would be great. It'd be lovely to see you as a double champion coming back. And even if you hadn't been a double champion, it would have been great to see you come back. So, but yeah, good luck with those. And sorry, I'll chip out of the interview now because it's Reeves.
No, but I echo your thoughts there exactly, Richard. Absolutely focus on them. I hope they do go very well for you, and look forward to hearing about them in the upcoming racing as well. Have you got any kind of ideas what plans might be after GCSEs are all said and done? Hoping for a nice fun summer for further education, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to be doing A-levels next year, but I mean, over the summer I'm going away quite a lot. I mean, I'm going to LA, which is for a quite quick trip because I need to then get back the next week for Zandvoort because we're going to the Grand Prix in Zandvoort. But yeah, it should be
very nice.
Fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a great summer ahead, and what should be a well-deserved one after your GCSEs. So, well, you've managed to take away another championship whilst revising for your GCSEs there as well. So I think top marks there for that, Gabriel. Congratulations. Another championship goes your way. And of course, I nearly forgot to mention driver of the round as well.
Oh, get it, man.
only complete professionalism from my part here, but a well-deserved driver of the round. You did impress us with your racecraft, with just how calmly you seem to drive and your pace as well. So well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Well done, Gabe. Yeah, thanks, Reeve, as well. So great to hear from our top 3 drivers there. Scott Bugner, who was always there or thereabouts, wasn't he, on the podium? Ollie Gibson in P2 and Gabe Norton. I really hope that we do get Gabe back very soon indeed. I think Rich wanted to maybe come in and do a little bit more of a plug for World Endurance League, which you probably don't need to, because I think it's going pretty well. But yeah, excited about
it's
it.
Going well. Yeah, I think we're up to 22 entrants at the moment, so it's going very well on entrants. And car choice at the moment, we've got 4 Astons, 4 McLarens, and 6 BMWs at the moment that are locked in. Obviously, the other drivers haven't locked in their choices yet, so it's quite an even spread. So it's looking pretty good. But I just want to say congrats to Gabe and well done to Oliver and obviously everybody that raced. But well done, Gabe, on taking you for your second championship with us. Yeah, it's been a difficult but fun championship this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks off now while I regroup and let's get going on World Endurance League.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Steve and Ian Danaher and Reeve Taylor. And of course, Becky for your company over the rounds as well. I eventually managed to get started on it, despite having a dodgy throat and everything else. And I think, how many did I do? 3 or 4 I think I did in the end. But good fun, as always. Enjoyed it. And looking forward to the next lot and maybe working on a few more as well. Definitely working on a few more as we go forward. So enjoy the next couple of weeks off. Thanks, everyone, for your company. As always, be nice to each other, and we'll see you in a few weeks. Bye for now.
Between the two of them.
The inside of Coates.
Watkins gets too heavily involved.
And that's Whitehead and Coates.